Hi.
Hi.
Hi there. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am glad.
Every time somebody say how you doing, I keep thinking about friends. How you doing?
How you doing? I tend to
Joey.
do that, unfortunately. I know. Hi, everybody.
Hi everybody. I have to be very honest because yesterday I was struggling about. It's been a long week
It's been a long week.
and there are lots to talk about. And then I was trying to finalize and then struggling through this whole process, topics to talk about. What should we talk about, and then who should I have on here? And then I have a few cool ideas that are in the works. But then, guess what came on my Facebook?
What?
You're already been friends for 2 years, according to Facebook.
Oh, okay.
I know it's longer than that, but
It's had to have been, yeah.
yeah, but it showed up, and I was like, oh, interesting. And the next thing that rolled up was our episode.
Oh, no.
First season, season 1, the second
Yes,
episode, and then it showed up.
yes.
I was like, actually, it would be fun to do a reunion.
Yes, it's true. Our reunion tour. Here it is. Yay.
So, thank everybody for coming by the Coffee with Kyan.
Yeah,
and then
thank
this is the Coffee
you.
Chat series. I know that most of you have met Kelly Andrews in the past. Kelly, why don't you introduce yourself really quick?
Hi, I'm Kelly Andrews. I fear that my CEO is messing with me in the background now.
Everybody say hi to Gary Dieter.
Gary Dieter. I was told I was told to talk about him a lot.
No, you're told to be nice.
I was told to be nice.
You're talking about him a lot, right?
I'm Kelly Andrews, JD Edwards Specialist with IT Works. One of the first people to come on board here. So I've been able to see all the changes and, us going from startup mode to established mode to, just as how many people are we up to now?
Rachel can probably confirm 35, potentially 36
All right.
in the works as we were looking at.
And I think I was number 2. So there you go. Yeah.
Wow.
I know, it's kind of crazy, so.
Yeah, especially through all the, I think, changes like you said.
Yeah,
2 people company to 5 people company, 10. I was number 13, I believe, when I
Yes.
first came on board.
Uh-huh.
Then we grow through 20, 30,
Yeah.
going through, still have ongoing growing pains, just like any organization.
Indeed.
Lots of details.
Lots of details.
Yeah, lots of details area to look through because doing full 360 is a lot.
It is, and I was talking with someone actually this morning about how I've worked with small businesses and much smaller than this one, but with the idea of getting larger. And it was almost that we did overproduction initially, where we went through all the mission statement and all of this stuff and had all this stuff ready and then actually never fully succeeded when it was all done. So it's been interesting to see this where we have fully succeeded and the growth has been amazing.
Yeah.
And now we're almost scooting in backwards, getting a lot of these other things in place. And it's very exciting. It's exciting to see it all come together. So I feel very blessed to be here and to have been able to see this. It's been great learning and it's amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's on the various level because we, in everything that we do, we try to go to the extreme, come into the extreme, say what we do what we say. But even though it may not always feel that way, either from the giving end, receiving end, or both parties are talking mutually. So I thought we'd take this opportunity.
Okay.
Kind of, that's one of the buzzwords I shouldn't be saying.
Yeah, he's not allowed to use that.
So,
it's fluffy.
The fluffiness.
The fluffy British word, kind of.
Just kind of checking in, touching base. Most of
Reaching
you
out.
have gone through the training process and the sessions have learned that really well. Is we use this opportunity to really talk about upon our delivery. Are we setting the expectation? Are we setting the expectation well? Are those being understood? And I think that the key word is mutually.
I
There's
agree.
Always 2 parties. At least 2 parties are involved, right?
It's true, and I have a tendency to try to set that expectation and sometimes over-explain, although under-explaining can definitely happen, I think, too. I like how we do it here. I mean, I think it definitely, for myself, it's been this learning curve of finding that equal medium between the two. But with clients and with candidates, it's nice to have that transparency with regard to people that we're able to help, and tell them, these are what I'm seeing, these are the jobs I'm seeing, but maybe I'm not getting as much of this, but I really want to be able to help you, and this is what you can anticipate. I think that's very important, pardon me, in recruitment. So
I understand.
Yeah.
I think that from some of the feedback, you and I are similar in that fashion.
Yeah.
But I think our mindset can be very different, or our train of thought can be very different, but the delivery is quite different in that case.
True.
And I can't, not speaking on behalf of the people at IT Works, or on behalf of a certain team, or on behalf of my training and so on. Let me speak on behalf of myself. And I know that individuals have brought to my attention that I almost sometimes come across like so much in your face, almost going down to that level extreme.
Yeah.
And then, and sometimes that intention was to make sure that the other party understood it.
It's true. And I mean, I feel that I do that too when taking a specification from a client, or, I'm always constantly going back and asking that question, does that make sense to you? What questions do you have surrounding this? And it really is a way of overcompensating. But I think with regard to how you work and with the training, a lot of times the expectations are going to be more activity-based, whereas other times it's more working smart. And I almost feel that you have to get that flow and that activity going until you can start to really make progress within that given market.
Yeah.
And I think you're very good at, if someone's confused as to what to do when, setting the expectation of get on the phone, get in the rhythm, So yeah.
Let's take on that for example, because is it the detail that's more important, or is it the goal that's more important, or how do we? I know there are several other elements we can talk about and diving a little deeper.
Yeah.
And how do we connect the dots? Let's
Goodness.
pick on phone activity to start, because in recruitment is, even though our element is quite different, we utilize social media quite a bit to help us capture that wider net, to help us capture maximizing our efforts.
Yeah.
But what's more important in terms of, at the end of the day, it's still about the phone activity, but how do we go about with those activities?
I mean, I'd always say quality over quantity, of course. But I think sometimes you have to really work and think smart. I think in this job sometimes it's really challenging to do that when you have the entire world and everything coming at you at the same time, what to do when. And so I think it's a steady balance. And I think also, in working smart, I think you do get the gist of that after some time. And then you know it from when, there's times when I sit there and look at myself and say, okay, I'm being a busy fool. I'm, to use Gary-isms here. But yeah, just really crazy, and I'm not seeing the forest for the trees, and I need to step back and maybe be a little more intentional with my activity, opposed to just be busy and picking up and dialing, or,
And somebody may very depends on the person too. Is it the purpose or the goal more important, or the fact of making 50 dials or 50 quality dials? That's more important. Because I think we see most people coming and dive in that have that, I don't know what to do now, but I got all those things to do. But at the end of the day is, what did you accomplish today? I don't know. Today just flew by so quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
I found that I've been trying to judge my call volume better. For the market that I'm on, J.D. Edwards, it's a much larger market than I started on the Epicor market. It's much larger than Epicor was. I think that Epicor's gone on to grow as well, but I find that I cannot speak to enough candidates and find out exactly what they do and what would they be good with. And even like this week was a frustrating week, because I had no one at the beginning of the week, and today I just had all of these wonderful people come up, and they seem good for a couple different jobs, and they seem like the jobs seem like they're within those individuals' criteria as well, which to me is very exciting. And but again, at the beginning of the week, I couldn't see the forest for the trees, and I was almost banking on some of the activity, because I think my head wasn't on straight, really.
I remember you and I have this conversation about almost 72 hours ago.
Yes, I know. It's going to spin off, man.
Yeah. So what did you do 24 hours prior or 48 hours prior to this moment that you think that triggered something happened?
Goodness, good question. I think I started to slow down, I might have even said this in the thing a year ago, but I love this, and I think it's in China, where the mothers, or someone leaves for work for the day. We always, as Americans, say "Have a great day" or "Go and get 'em, tiger." "Carpe diem" is always mine. I always use that one, but I've heard it be said, "The go slow." All right, go slow. And I think for myself, almost sitting and being more intentional and determine, okay, am I focused on the most important thing at this time, and what do I need to do to be that way? That for me is very helpful, because even yesterday, and this candidate, I haven't heard back from her yet, but I've been working on this job, and all of a sudden it hit me, oh my goodness, I could help this one candidate who I've known for over a year in the area, and I don't know why I didn't think of her immediately. And it was because I was going, so fast. And so
trying to do so much,
yeah,
but also because of that accomplishing maybe not so much or so little.
Exactly.
We're spread so thin.
Yeah, missing the point. And I'm really good at overcomplicating things, and you know this. I am. Would I say it's my greatest strength, or is that even a strength? I say greatest,
It's
strength, greatest weakness,
sure,
but
it depends on the context too.
I become very methodical in the way I approach things, which I think can be very good, because it can be very clear and very specific. But at the same time, if I'm not prepared, and a lot of times if I don't go about things in that intentional manner, I drown. Like when I hear certain people wing it, I am just in awe, because I am not that person. I do not. I over prepare, and and maybe come out good on the other side. So anyways,
there are many ways to get there. I think that it's the methodology and then also the tools, the resources, the how do we go about getting there. I think that there are a few things that can help us to keep us on track.
It's true.
I think that the planner, for example,
yeah,
that I think that will give us some.
We try to stay to our daily plans, so again, being very mindful as to everything that we do and that we plan on accomplishing for the day, whether that be, a series of 3 daily goals that's then broken down into, 20 different candidates that we need to call for a certain job, and, 5 different admin tasks that we have to do, and being able to tick all those boxes, essentially. And I think that is very helpful. And just getting your focus back. I mean, things change momentarily, and priorities shift all the time.
Because sometimes it's hard to pinpoint, so what did I accomplish today? I feel I'm putting out fires today, but what did I actually accomplish or achieved?
That's it.
It's hard to say. And then put on the other person's perspective, the other party perspective. A lot of times candidates are wondering why recruiters are not calling them back. Or I sent you an email like last week, how can you never call me back?
Yes.
But sometimes roll into, on average, our candidate, when we speak with the prospective candidate, the call is roughly about 45 minutes to an hour.
It's true.
So coming down to the hours, minute that we have throughout the day, they're really to get through, sometimes well over 50 to 100 plus responses or inquiries. It can be
It's
daunting.
a lot. It's daunting, I think, and even in the larger markets too, it can be so much more. I mean, I just remember in my prior market, the response to certain updates that I'd send to candidates and clients would be, 3 of the right people who were interested and qualified, and then maybe 10 others who might be interested, and I could get them on the phone easily. And currently it's a totally different response. It's picking up on the details of what the criteria is for each individual, if they're candidates or clients, what their needs are, and ensuring I document those to take those into consideration. So many, and I don't want to get myself in trouble here, but I think so many recruiters can be considered with a bad reputation, essentially. And so I do make it a huge priority to always call everyone back. But at the same time, it might take a couple days. It's sometimes, especially after the beginning of the week, when you're, looking at over 200 different email inquiries and have meetings all day Monday, it can be a lot, so. But I do feel very strongly that it's a two-way street, with regard to candidates and with regard to clients too. It's not going to just be a fit just on the client's end. It's got to be right for that person and that individual, and it is personal. It might be a job, and it might be that we all need to stay very professional, but it's a personal decision. And so I think the more we can make people not feel like numbers, the better, because they're not numbers. This is important stuff, and they're the creme de la creme, really, in these niches.
That's the cool part, but the hard part about staffing, because it's not exactly a spec-based service. It's really a human-based industry and service in that case.
It is. And it becomes too much, I think, about being the other,
Yeah, it's about everybody. It's not always about others. It's about sometimes ourselves, because if we don't have our act together, we can't really provide a better service to other people.
It's amazing.
But we keep everything about other people, then sometimes at the end of the day it is still a for-profit business.
It is. I mean, this is how we make our living. This is how our company. But you want it to be you want it to have integrity, and you want to do the right thing by people. I try to do that. I'm very big on just making it that right fit for the candidate. And if it's not, if I'm not hearing the right things on their end with regard to the opportunity I present, then I'll get them the right thing. It's just not the right timing, and I do move on. That's how I try to go about it.
So let's talk about candidate in that case then.
Okay.
And then once we identify, obviously in this case, we plan through our day, set the goals. How can we set that expectation with a candidate that we got those LinkedIn messages, emails coming in, or even phone call? We try not to have them have a moment leave a voice. We always want to talk to them live, but sometimes I'm on the other line, or I'm in the meeting. I got two people lining outside of my door.
Yeah.
Who want to get back to you.
I'm on coffee with Kyan.
This is awkward.
Just kidding.
Hey, but you're watching this, so thank you for watching this, and she will be calling you back shortly.
Yes.
So how do we set that mutual expectation just so that the other party doesn't have a bad taste? Let's pick on candidate first.
I always try to, I'm responsive. I try to be as responsive if as possible. If I'm not as responsive, they're going to hear back from me. If I'm in a 5-hour meeting, then they'll hear back from me, 5 hours and 30 minutes later. Exactly.
Kyan never call me back.
Yeah. But it is, the candidates are just important as the clients, period. And it's got to be the right candidate for the right client. So it really is a mutually beneficial. If I'm just going to sit there and yes, I do work for my clients, but I also work for my candidates. And I think it's important to acknowledge that.
To acknowledge that maybe in our initial response, maybe?
Yeah.
Or when we do get back to you, to put in a proper apology or proper greeting?
This is important to me. Your time is important to me. The fact that you'll talk to me is important to me, and I want to talk to you too. I will be in touch, and sometimes I'll do times where I'm calling people back to ensure that they're available. Other times I'm just going to be a real person about it and say, listen, it's been crazy.
Yeah. I'm taking out these 3 major projects.
Yeah.
For 3 diverse clients from all 3 different industries. And this is where my head and efforts are this week. So tell me about what's going on with you.
Yes.
Then maybe a 5-minute conversation, need be 10-minute conversation. We'll roll that into, then we can better set that expectation.
And yes, and with directives at the end to always be planning ahead for next steps and what follow-up actions are going to be and so on.
Yeah, maybe it's better when you get back in town, and then so a week from today, I have more time on my hand or resources on my hand. we can have each other's undivided attention. Or
It's
something like
true.
that. Yeah.
It's true, and I mean, I think I've also had candidates say to me, just send me the job spec and get on with it. And seriously, that happens a lot, and I get it because I can understand it would be very frustrating to have a recruiter say, call and start interviewing someone without saying anything about the job. I get that. But the other thing I understand for myself is I don't want to fit my candidate. I don't want to be disrespectful and try to fit them into any box of a job that I'm working on just so that I can get paid.
Remember back in the
That's
day,
crazy.
where is it? How much does it pay? What are the hours?
Exactly.
And then send me an email about it. I'm like, well,
This
what
is,
are you?
Exactly. What do you
Yeah.
want? Where do you see yourself growing? Can this provide that? What don't you like about where you are currently? So that I can make sure this is not that, because I don't want to disrupt yours and your family's lives. And so
It's the who element versus the what element.
exactly. And then at the same time, I mean, because all I focus on is that J.D. Edwards system, a lot of times it's going to be, I have 10, 20 jobs on that are going to be either technical or functional. And what is it that you do so I understand what you're right for? Do you want me to, delve in for the next 10 days into each job? And it becomes a lot,
We're trying to make sure that we are asking you the questions, also the right question that's
Indeed.
best utilize everybody else's time
True.
to find you that something we know is going to be the better opportunity.
That's
not
it.
just based on money, not just based on the company per se, not just based on the scope, but really the overall package.
It's true.
Yeah, I think with the candidate. What about with the clients?
With the client, I think it's constant expectation setting because, again, with all due respect to my kind, a lot of recruiters out there too are trying to make that quick placement so they have a warm body in there. They're going to sell the candidate skills no matter what, whether they're right for the job or not. What I find is when that's done, it comes out in the end that they're not right for the job.
Yeah.
It doesn't normally work for either party, and it's actually a really bad thing to do to someone, period,
Absolutely.
Whether it be your client or your candidate.
Hey, this is delicious. You can try
Yeah. And so with the clients, I find myself, I do overcompensate and saying, listen, this is what I'm going to do for you. Ideally, I'd like full transparency on your part. If you're considering someone, seriously, let me know so I can let my candidate know where you are. Let them understand the real picture and the likelihood of this coming through for them. And if not, work on their behalf to find them something that's either more of a fit or better at that time.
And not duplicating each other's efforts, and then
Exactly.
we're doing exactly the same thing. Our goal should be the same, which is the same. We're trying to find a solution for you, the client, the hiring manager, have a project in hand. So we're all working together towards one goal.
Indeed.
Then coming back into the expectation should be a mutual expectation too in that case.
I agree.
Here's
You
what
mirror
we're doing.
each other.
Exactly.
With
So,
regard to respect, with regard to all of that,
Yeah, Tony, you can call me later. Thank you. So, yeah, so
Hi,
that there's
Tony.
a mutual expectations that just so that client doesn't think that we are almost expendable sometimes.
It's true.
I
I do
think,
think
yeah.
that there's a lot of scenarios where these long position specs are taken and the poor client has their ear talked off by the other party, and all these promises are made, and then they never hear back from that person. And I get the frustration, and I've seen it. I've seen it in business a lot, and I do understand it, and I try to, at all costs, avoid being that person. And I think I do a good job, actually. I try to treat them as I'd want them to treat me. And if I feel, I had one client recently, and I haven't found anyone for her yet. And I'm not happy with myself about that, but it's been more challenging than I'd anticipated. And I talked to her and I said, I am so sorry. I feel like I've made promises, and and this is probably not what we want on here, but I've tried so
reality.
hard on this.
Yeah.
I need you to understand that I've tried hard, and the moment I have someone, I will get them to you. And please understand the struggle here. And she completely understood, and but at the same time, I don't feel that everyone does that all the time. They don't take responsibility for the fact that maybe it has been harder than anticipated.
And sometimes it's really what the market is able to afford.
Yes.
We're able to produce at the time, or we can give you that realistic picture of what's going out there.
It's true.
Then we are all on the same page. So maybe this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come back to you in 72 hours from now. Let me see, because here are 3 things, ideas that I have for the next step. In the meantime, I would suggest on your end to review the budget or review what can we do differently.
Exactly.
Or maybe coming down from the certification or coming down from the year experience or based on the workload. We want to have a true understanding about what kind of solution that we can plug it in as a contractor, or to further your team's growth by adding a permanent position in there, or sometimes both.
True.
And so we can better in line towards, again, same goal.
Exactly.
And hopefully that through, in light of the conversations back and forth, that there is something that's meaningful in terms of a business relationship, in terms of a joy of coming out this process. We have 3 smiling faces from client, candidate. We feel a lot better, with ourselves, and also what we're able to do for you who are watching that.
Yeah. Well, and it's essentially that partnership too. And I mean, I think I've had some of the best placements and scenarios when I've been able to work with clients, and a lot of recruiters don't want to work through HR, obviously. They want to go right to the hiring manager. But there are certain HR individuals who I've worked with who have just been phenomenal and recognized it as a partnership, a smartnership. Smartnership. Anyways, recognize that, the fact that because we're experts in this specific niche system, they don't deal within this system every day. And so I've loved those partnerships with those HR individuals who they get me, I get them, and we try to help each other. And that's how it should be.
Exactly. Everybody have their job to do. Everybody have their own expertise, and then their bandwidth. And our goal really is to coming in doing what we do and what we do best to help you fulfill your needs.
That's it.
One thing on the partnership, I think that because we are a growing company and we've gone through that growing pains.
Yes.
In terms of that partnership, looking at a collaborative effort, how do we deliver that expectation among, because your role has transpired quite a bit actually, from a sole individual contributor to a mentor on top of that, to potentially a team lead, manager, to lots of different things that you look after.
Yeah.
So how do we set that mutual expectation to know that here is the goal, here's the target, and we're all on the same boat together?
I mean, the mutual expectation to other associates here of mine, or?
Yeah, I think that either directly report to you, working with you, or working alongside you. You and I, for example, and with other parties involved, including Gary, including the finance office, including many false-side things. How can we best to ensure that we all have that delivered upon, understood the expectation mutually?
I almost feel like over communication is essentially the answer, because we all are going through growing pains, and we're having new people start that have not been part of that process. And initially, because we went from being that very small company to a significantly larger one and continue to grow, one of our big things that we say is that we're getting in our lanes. And I think essentially we're all wearing multiple hats prior, and we're all over the place. And I mean, it was pretty amazing to watch you go and watch Gary go and just be like, God, can one person do all of that? It's insanity. But, now I think that we're getting more of that support. We're all very conscious and mindful of how we're going about our business, and is that within our lane, and is it within, and try to reiterate that to everybody. At the same time, a job's got to get done too. And sometimes it's kind of like, okay, let's quit talking about it, but get on with it, essentially. But I do think that being mindful of each other and empathetic of each other and how things are perceived, it's it's a very challenging time, but a very exciting time too, all at the same time, really.
And also remember that, hey, we're all in this together.
Exactly.
I think that as we work alongside with each other,
Yeah.
There's gonna be moments. It's sales. It's high pressure, high stress environment, and there's high and lows, extreme high and lows as well. To know that, hey, there's gonna be emotional moments.
Yeah.
But we're in this together, and then we're gonna do the best that we can.
It's
And
true.
then, everybody have their own expertise. We're almost looking at how we partner with our client, internal recruitment team, and then hiring manager, interviewers, decision makers. Everybody have, we can talk about they have their lane of their own, but at the end that behind it is everybody have a expertise or
Yeah.
an element of the things that they look after. Then the next is how do
true.
we all.
It's true, and I mean, I was talking about this today too, how it's so lovely to play up people's what they do daily in their job to their strengths and playing it up. And I always love working with clients that can do that, but I feel like we as a company definitely do that too. The individual, if there's certain things that they want to lend or bring to the table that they really love and feel that ownership, whether it's ownership of one's market and building that and growing that and having their own book of their business, or ownership of the training and development as you do with others here, I feel like that's allowed at this point still here, because when I work with clients and there's the job spec and it's this and that's all it can be, this person needs to mirror everything within that.
Yeah.
I get it, but I think you grow people and you grow companies and have that happiness and have that success by making it around the individual and what they bring to the table. And so I really think playing up those strengths is important in recruitment, but also something that I feel that we as a company have been doing too, which I like.
Yeah, I think that obviously lots more area for improvement, upgrade, and enhancement as well. I think that, like you said, the over communication is absolutely key.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think that will create much more moving forward
Exactly.
atmosphere, than the guessing, unsure, the hesitation, and so on.
It's true. It's true.
The over communication part.
Exactly, and I highly recommend any woman or man. I think they need a man version. It could be man or woman, but I have a Babe with the Power ring, pardon me. And it just empowers me every day. So the days that I feel like I really need to get this, I wear the Babe with the Power ring.
Nice.
Sold on the streets of New York, thanks to my brother and his girlfriend. So
That's awesome.
It is my little token there. If you can read that, I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for the chat. What do
Thank
you have
you, sir.
going on the next few months or next few weeks? You started.
Goodness.
You got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, we're going to collaborate, which is the J.D. Edwards big party in Vegas, which I think it probably will be quite interesting. Very, very excited to shake some hands and just get to know other people. We're on the phone so much here, and we serve, all of the U.S., and so you just don't get that personal touch as much as you'd like, So I'm excited about that and to meet some of my clients and candidates and have some of that time.
Exciting.
And that's really the big thing, I think. Some weddings, yeah.
Some local presence, and obviously that Kelly and Matt James will be seeing you in Vegas. We'll definitely have you two coming back, I think, prior to
Great.
To collaborate. And then
Nice.
and then we'll catch up with everybody soon.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very
Thanks, Kelly.
good. Thank you, sir. Definitely.
We'll see
Cheers.
you guys next week. Cheers. Have a great weekend, guys. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Any questions? 678-291-0081.
Good job.
And what other ways to contact you?
Me?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
There you go.
Bye, guys.